All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're here with some NFL DFS picks and lineup advice for tonight's single game showdown slate on FanDuel and DraftKings. Monday Night Football between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy, single game $1 million winner. And in this video, we're going to talk about low risk and high risk lineup construction strategies, some top plays, injury news and notes, and just some general strategies to help get you to the top of your contest leaderboards. So before we get started, make sure you're subscribed to the channel to get notified when we upload all of our videos. We're doing new videos pretty much every single day during the NFL season, so make sure you're subscribed. Give us a thumbs up if you like the showdown content, if you want to see more, so give us a thumbs up. Any questions, hop on our Discord channel, comment below this video. We'll try to get back to you before the slate starts at 8:20 p.m. Eastern tonight. So let's jump into it. Divisional rivalry. We have a 3-point favorite. The Chargers are 3-point home favorites here. And let's get started with low-risk contests, 50-50s, double-ups, head-to-heads, contests where you only have to beat half the field. You know how we talk about in these videos every single time. You want to try to lock up all the scoring for a low-risk showdown contest. That means both quarterbacks and both running backs if possible, and when it makes sense. That usually helps get you to the top half of your contest. So tonight, obviously, we have Derek Carr, Justin Herbert as the quarterbacks. Austin Eckler getting a ton of work, passing game, even some goal line work now this year. He's the obvious running back to play on the Chargers side. But where it gets tricky is the Raiders' running back room. So Josh Jacobs, we see here, has the questionable tag. He's much more likely to play tonight than he was last week. And that makes things really complicated because in his absence last week, and John Gruden cannot stop talking about this dude, is Peyton Barber. He played pretty well. 23 carries, 111 yards, a touchdown. Helped our staff writer Lucas win over $30,000 in the afternoon slate last week. And so Peyton Barber has earned some more looks as well. Then we have Kenyon Drake, who is technically the passing game specialist here, but he missed some blitz pickups, and Gruden wasn't happy with him throughout the week. And there's a chance now that last year's passing game running back, Jalen Richard, who's just $200, by the way, he might return. He was designated to return from injured reserve. They still have to activate him today by the 4 p.m. Eastern deadline. We'll see if they do that. But he would take away some snaps from Kenyon Drake and make this backfield even muddier than it already is. So all of this is a long way of saying you can probably avoid the Raiders running backs in low-risk contests tonight. Maybe Josh Jacobs if we get word that he's fully healthy. But there's a chance here, and given his injuries, he probably won't be. It's too messy, and none of these guys in touchdown scoring roles are particularly cheap, right? Jacobs is 7,600, Barber 6,800, so it's probably a spot to avoid in low risk contests. So that means we have $4,200 left per player if we captain Justin Herbert, and there are no value plays on this slate. If you listen to our Premium Showdown podcast with Colin Drew this morning, nobody below the defenses are particularly exciting. Jalen Guyton is the number 3, and he's running a decent amount of routes. After that, it's thin down here. Recent weeks we've had Brandon Bolden, Ronald Jones, all these guys in the sub 2K range that are easy to play as values. Not the case tonight. So we can't just play Herbert at captain, get a couple values, and fill out the rest of our lineups. So to me, kickers and defenses make a ton of sense, right? Even if we tried to play both kickers, for example, that leaves us 5K. That gives us a positional player we could play. I don't know if 2 kickers are the answer. The other option here, and maybe the preferred option, is captaining one of the kickers. Let's go with the favorite home team, Tristan Vizcaino, every single time. Let's try to put him at captain this time. That's 8,800 per player. 1, 2, 3. We could probably fit in another stud here, 6,200 left. And this is probably the move to go in low-risk contests. If we go over to FanDuel, you might be shocked to find this out, but we can't play 2 quarterbacks and 2 running backs anyways. Carr, Herbert, Eckler, 7,500 left per player. Even if Jacobs is ruled out and Peyton Barber is the guy, whoa, we see this every week. $4,500 left. They won't let us do it. So this is definitely the start you want on FanDuel. How you go from here is a little tougher because, again, $7,500 per player, there isn't value, like we said, even on DraftKings, right? So Jared Cook is 75, Guyton, it gets thin quick. So low-risk contest, probably something to avoid on FanDuel tonight unless we get some crazy news about injuries or players with new roles. Now, if we talk about high-risk contests, is our bread and butter. Contests where there are exponential payouts, 20% or less of the field gets paid. So we're talking leagues, GPP, satellites, contests of that nature. Still not a great slate tonight because of that lack of value. So for us, in our model, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Henry Ruggs, Darren Waller, Brian Edwards, all these guys rank above the quarterbacks tonight. And the reason that is, one, these guys are getting good work in the passing game, specifically the LA receivers and Darren Waller, right? Tons of volume. Mike Williams' new role this year has given him an unprecedented floor and ceiling. So there's a reason why he's priced above Keenan Allen so far this year. And that makes it difficult because of the lack of value to fit in the quarterbacks, right? Because if we want these high volume guys, it's very possible, very unlikely we can fit in 2 quarterbacks. So to me, it looks like a 1 quarterback slate. And there are even some scenarios where I think 0 quarterbacks gets there if we use the proper amount of salary and these position players take them over. So, with a game total where it is, and given what our model is telling us, we definitely want a receiver at captain tonight. Whether that's the LA Chargers guys, whether that's the undervalued Vegas Raiders receivers and tight ends, including Darren Waller, that's the route you want to go. So even if you start with someone like, let's say, Mike Williams, who we like a lot, and I think the field will like a lot as well, and you pair him with Justin Herbert, 50, 100 per player, this is the way to go for most high-risk contests tonight. Get a wide receiver into your captain spot. And then you can fill out from there. We talked about it on our Premium Showdown podcast as well this morning, that if you want to get different, because it is a tough slate to get different, because all these popular captains, everyone's going to flow through the passing game, the uncertainty in the Raiders running back situation. Maybe you pair, because there's still correlation there, and especially if you play with the Chargers captains, I think this makes a ton of sense. You play the opposite quarterback, because in this scenario, Justin Herbert could get priced out, because he is, if we take him out here, $400 more than Carr, definitely possible, but you have to use near the salary ceiling in this scenario. So it's very tough. Again, this all comes back to saying that this slate is incredibly tough. But I do think the one clear edge is probably playing Raiders pass catchers at captain, pass catchers in general in the captain spot on DraftKings. Now, FanDuel, it's going to be tough for Carr and Herbert not to get there, but there are a couple pivots. We could play Austin Eckler, and we talked about this in the Dallas game a couple slates ago, where when everyone expects the game to go a certain way and the majority of the scoring to go through a certain avenue, in this scenario, the passing game, then playing for that not to happen and the scoring to go through the running backs is a big way to get an edge on the field. Just so happened that slate, Zeke was the optimal MVP. Made us look really smart. So you could play Austin Eckler at MVP and hope that he gets a couple touchdowns, and that eliminates the chances for a quarterback to end up the optimal MVP. Other scenario on this slate, because we have so many receivers that dominate targets, Mike Williams, Darren Waller, Keenan Allen in particular, you could play these guys. Wide receivers are undervalued in the MVP spot. It's very tough for them to get there, but they hit at a higher rate than the field plays them, so it's pretty big leverage. So you could play Mike Williams or Keenan Allen or Darren Waller, and if you don't want to go the running game leverage spot, you can easily play these guys. Pair them with their quarterback, maybe play an opposing running back. But just understand, even though these guys, we've seen this before, even though these guys are less than 10% of MVP, it doesn't automatically guarantee you a unique lineup. We see a lot of big ties even when a low-owned MVP hits, just because so many people are scared to be that much more different, right? They think playing a low-owned MVP is enough to get them there in large contests, right? The GPPs and whatnot. You still need one more point of differentiation, leave some salary, play a lower-owned player, so keep that in mind. And on that note, make sure you check out our Occupy model, which does have projected ownership for both FanDuel and DraftKings for every primetime showdown slate. That can certainly help you figure out where to get different in your lineups. Our daily plug will be out later this afternoon. The link is in the description below for the plug. Check back around 4 p.m. Eastern for our full thoughts on the slate, rankings for different contest types, as well as lineup strategies for specific contest types. So make sure you check that out. And again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video if you let us know you like Showdown content. And if you have any questions, comment on the video. We're always happy to check back on YouTube to answer them. But the easiest way to get your question answered and to talk with other OccupyFantasy.com members and staff is to join our Discord channel, OccupyFantasy.com/Discord with instructions. You can also just click the join button right below this video to get access to that server. All right, good luck tonight. I'm Brian Jester, Occupy Fantasy. Appreciate everyone listening. Let's take something down.